and another one bites the dust. The hip-hop world was too stunned to speak this week by the news that the one and only Snoop Dogg, once an outspoken critic of Donald Trump, performed at the president-elect's inauguration celebrations on January 20th, 2025. We all remember the TikToks that the star put out openly criticizing Trump and his supporters back in 2016.
So ain't nobody gonna perform for Donald Trump, huh? Which one of you jigaboo ass niggas gonna be the first one to do it? I'm waiting. I'm gonna roast the fuck out of one of you Uncle Tom ass niggas for doing it. Which one of you niggas gonna do it first? Osby's the one that performs for himself.
So, his words have definitely come back to bite him in the ass. The legendary rapper headlined the first ever crypto ball, where tickets were going for up to $5,000 a pop. It's an unexpected alliance that has sparked debates on social media, with a lot of diehard fans expressing disappointment while others welcome Snoop to the winning team. The controversy only escalated when fellow rapper Nelly was announced as a performer at the official inaugural Liberty Ball, leading many to question how these artists, once critical of Trump's policies, have seemingly changed their stance.
Why did you want to do it, Nelly?
Well, first of all, it's an honor for me to perform for the House.
However, to truly understand this transformation, we need to journey back to the streets of Long Beach, California, where our story begins. Born Calvin Cortazar Broadus Jr. on October 20th, 1971, Snoop's early life was marked by the absence of his father, Vernell Varnado, a Vietnam veteran and mail carrier who left the family when Calvin was just 3 months old. His mother, Beverly Tate, would later marry Calvin Cortazar Broadus Sr., giving young Calvin his stepfather's name. It was Beverly who gave him the nickname Snoopy, finding an endearing resemblance between her son and the beloved Peanuts character, a nickname that would later evolve into one of hip-hop's most recognizable monikers. Growing up in Long Beach during the 1970s and early 1980s, young Calvin's first expressed an affinity for music through the Golgotha Trinity Baptist Church, where he sang in the choir and played piano. These early experiences with gospel music would later influence his unique vocal style and timing. The neighborhood where he grew up, specifically Locust Street, was a vibrant mix of breakdancing, pop locking, and freestyle rap battles. Even then, Snoop stood out for his knack for wordplay, showing early signs of the charismatic performer he would become. Unfortunately, the streets of Long Beach held darker temptations for teenage Snoop. By age 15, he had already handled his first gun and was becoming increasingly involved with the gang, the Rolling 20s Crips. The gang members took young Snoop under their wing, teaching him, as he would later say, how to make something out of nothing. To help support his family, he took on various legitimate jobs, delivering newspapers, selling candy, and bagging groceries at Lucky's supermarket, but eventually turned to drug dealing, a decision that would have severe consequences. The situation came to a head when Snoop was 17. His mother, Beverly, found out that he was selling drugs from her house after a drive-by shooting incident that put his younger brother's life in danger. After that, she made the difficult decision to kick him out, proving she was, in Snoop's words, no joke, which honestly must have been one hell of a gut punch because Snoop had always said his mom was like a best friend growing up. This led to a period of homelessness where Snoop lived in his Camaro until it was towed away for being parked illegally, taking all his possessions with it. And at 18, his luck finally completely ran out when he was arrested for selling cocaine to an undercover officer, resulting in his first prison stint. But even during these troubled times, Snoop's musical talent was becoming impossible to ignore. While attending Long Beach Polytechnic High School, he would rap in the hallways, drawing crowds so big that teachers would mistake them for fights. It was during this period that he formed the group 213, named after their area code, with his cousin Nate Dogg and friend Warren G. They recorded demos in the back of the Long Beach record store where Warren G worked, never imagining that these rough recordings would eventually reach the ears of the likes of Dr. Dre. The connection came through Warren G, Dr., Dre's stepbrother, who relentlessly lobbied to get Dre to listen to their music. Shout out to him for being an annoying younger brother. I guess it pays off sometimes. When Dre finally heard Snoop's distinctive drawl and smooth delivery style, he immediately recognized that Snoop had something special. This led to Snoop's first professional recording opportunity on the theme song for the 1992 film Deep Cover. The collaboration ended up being so successful that Dre featured Snoop extensively on his groundbreaking album, The Chronic, where Snoop's verses on tracks like Nothin' But a G Thing helped define the G-Funk era. But just as Snoop's career was taking off, tragedy struck. In 1993, he became entangled in a murder case involving Philip Woldemarian, who was shot by Snoop's bodyguard, McKinley Lee. The incident stemmed from an ongoing dispute and alleged gang taunting, with Lee claiming self-defense after Woldemarian allegedly reached for a gun during the confrontation. The timing couldn't have been worse. Snoop was about to release his debut album, Doggystyle. This is where Suge Knight, the powerful and controversial CEO of Death Row Records, showed up and demonstrated his influence. Despite the severity of the charges, Knight managed to secure Snoop's release on a $1 million bond with a 10 p.m. curfew. In a calculated move that showed Death Row's marketing genius, they delayed Snoop's surrender to authorities until after his scheduled appearance at the 1993 MTV Video Music Awards. The publicity surrounding the case only seemed to fuel public interest in Doggystyle, which made history by becoming the first debut album to enter the Billboard charts at #1. Just like they predicted, the looming murder trial grabbed headlines at the height of the press's sensationalization of the gangster rap phenomenon. The album's success was driven by hits like What's My Name and Gin and Juice, which showcased Snoop's unique ability to deliver hardcore lyrics with a smooth, almost lazy flow that music journalists noted set him apart from his more aggressive peers. But even though Snoop and co. wanted nothing more than to celebrate this unprecedented success, there was still the sticky matter of that pesky murder trial looming over their heads. Luckily for Snoop Dogg, though, his prosecutors screwed themselves from the start. It soon emerged that police had mistakenly destroyed key evidence in the case, while the prosecutors themselves were held in contempt of court for procedural infractions, per MTV. Snoop's celebrity lawyer, Johnny Cochran, argued that Woldemarian had in fact been armed, but that his friends had hidden the weapon. Meanwhile, Snoop's record label flooded the courtroom with famous supporters, including Death Row rapper Tupac Shakur and chart favorite MC Hammer. Snoop and Lee were finally acquitted February 20th, 1996, after a 24-month trial.
What? My people from Death Row, they took me out of town, you know what I'm saying, to release my mind. That's something I really needed, you know what I'm saying? I had fun in the water. I went to the water, I was in the sky, me and Tupac was like 30 feet in the air.
Following the acquittal, Snoop made a conscious effort to minimize the theme of gang-related death from his lyrics, which had regularly featured in his bars to that point, and later explained how his change in subject matter bothered his fan base, but that he was comfortable with his decision. However, they couldn't really celebrate their victory too much because at that point the Death Row empire was slowly beginning to crumble. Dr. Dre had already left the label over contract disputes, and tragedy struck again when Tupac Shakur was fatally shot in Las Vegas in September 1996. Unlike many others caught up in the escalating East Coast-West Coast rivalry, Snoop made a conscious decision to distance himself from the conflict. In interviews from the period, he emphasized his desire to make good music rather than perpetuate violence, stating, "I didn't sign a contract to hurt nobody or make people hate me or hate people." I mean, that's pretty fair, I guess. This decision proved to be the right one, as the tragic deaths of both Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. would soon demonstrate the deadly consequences of the coastal rivalry. Snoop's refusal to fully engage in the beef, despite pressure from Suge Knight, showed a level of foresight that likely saved both his career and his life. He would later recall that period as transformative, saying, "What I was doing was death or jail, but this other path I was choosing seemed like it had a bright ending at it, not a dark ending." As they say, history may not repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme a lot. Fast forward to 2024, and Snoop's relationship with Trump took an unexpected turn after the former president commuted the sentence of Death Row Records founder Michael Harry O. Harris, who had been serving time for attempted murder and cocaine trafficking. Working with activist Alice Johnson and producer Weldon Angelos, Snoop had advocated for Harris's release, so that much-needed lifeline from Trump is most likely what led to his newfound appreciation for Trump. As Snoop explained in a recent interview with the Sunday Times, "He ain't done nothing wrong to me. He has done only great things for me. He pardoned Michael Harris. So, I have nothing but love and respect for Donald Trump." I think it's safe to say that Snoop Dogg's ability to evolve while maintaining his authentic voice, whether in music, business, or politics, has kept him relevant for over 3 decades. Whether you agree with his recent political choices or not, which I'm definitely struggling to do right now, there's no denying that Snoop's got talent and survival instincts.
You're not supporting either one?
I'm not down with the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. I represent the Gangster Party.
The Gangster Party?
Yes, sir.